Alright, Shalom. As always, gonna give all praise and glory to Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, and double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who do rule and teach well. This is the book of Matthew, chapter 6, verse 26. Behold, the fowls of the air, for they sow not, neither do they reap, nor gather into barns, yet your Father, heavenly Father, feedeth them. Are you not much better than they? Which of you, by taking thought, can add 1 cubit unto his stature? And why take ye thought for raiment? Consider the lilies of the field, how they grow. They toil not, neither do they spin. Yet I say unto you, that even Solomon, in all his glory, was not arrayed like one of these. Right? Because Solomon, he had to, have people get him all these things. He had to have people go do the work and, commission everything to be done. For him to have a garment made, he would have to have people go make him the garment and do the toil to go get him that. All those things that Solomon got, he had to work for. And, a lot of things were given to him, but everything that he got, he had to command others to get, and and he had to have others labor to get him to get those things. So all those things weren't just naturally added unto him, so to speak, right? And then I got the precept, 2nd Ezra 6 and 44. What was made. 2nd Ezra chapter 6 verse 42. Upon the third day thou didst command that the waters should be gathered in the 7th part of the earth, and 6 parts hast thou dried up and kept them, to the tent that those being of these some being planted of the Most High and tilled might serve thee. Right, and that's talking about Pangea. Alright, so the earth is mostly water, and then 6 parts dried up, meaning one land mass he made up to be the earth, and then other he left as water. That's what he said there. The earth is mostly water, and you can obviously see that on the map. You got these big old oceans and all that, right? But then out of all those oceans, you only have some that's like drinkable, like fresh water and stuff like that. I think you can drink salt water, but you gotta like purify it and stuff. But there's a lesser amount of water that's meant for us to use, like fresh water and stuff like that. Verse 43, and for as soon as thy word went forth, the work was made. For immediately there was great innumerable fruit, many and diverse pleasures for the taste, and flowers and changeable colors. This is literal fruits, by the way, literal things talking about plants. And odors a wonderful smell, and this was done on the 3rd day. All right, these things, they cannot be copied, and all these things, they're made to work on their own. There's systems in place with the planet, to work, where these things pretty much sufficiently and provide for themselves, and the Lord provides all these different plants their own nutrients. Some are used as food for other life forms, insects and stuff of that, like think of like the bees pollinating, and things like that. And these things cannot be copied. You see here, you can't imitate the colors of some flowers. Flowers are unchangeable colors. You can't imitate them. So all these things, they work in their own natural order, and it's perfect. That reminds me also in 2nd Ezra, I think it might be the 7th or 6th chapter, or it may be earlier here, but there's a account where the Archangel Uriel is making a similitude to the prophet Esdras, and he's explaining to him and saying, that the sand doesn't fight against the water. Let me see if I can go find it. Maybe earlier here. It's not there. It's early in one of these chapters. It's like we see the word sand. Let's see here, sand. This is the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 4. I thought it was earlier, but never mind. This is the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 4. Verse 13, he answered me and said, I went to a forest, into a plain, and the trees took counsel. Come, let us go and make war against the sea, that it may depart from us, and that we may make us more woods. The floods of the sea also in like manner took counsel, and said, Come, let us go and subdue the woods of the plain, and there also we may make us into the country. Okay, so the water, we're saying, hey, how about we go take over the land, and then we can have even more water all over the place. The thought of the wood was in vain, for the fire came and consumed it. Thoughts of the sea likewise came likewise not, for the sand stood up and stopped them. Right? Because there's natural orders to all things on the planet, right? Like, fires, natural wildfires, are a thing. That's in nature, man. See? And here's the precepts. If thou wert judged now betwixt these two, whom thou wouldest begin to justify, or whom wouldest thou condemn? I answered and said, Verily is a foolish thought that they both have devised, for the ground is given unto the wood, and the sea hath this place to bear his floods. Then answered he me and said, Thou hast given a right judgment, but why judgest not thyself also? And the rest, you could kind of read for yourself, because it's pretty much going into how man has his own understanding, and then things of the heavens are to the heavens, things to the earth are to the earth, basically. See, people who inhabit the earth can only understand what's on the earth, and he who is above the heavens can understand what is above the eye of the heavens in the GNT version. So the angels, Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, the angels, they understand things in a higher level, because they're divine beings. They're beyond our terrestrial. Like scripture talk about this glory of the celestial, and the glory of the celestial is one thing, the glory of terrestrial is another thing. So we're terrestrial creatures. We only we exist on the mortal plane, and we can only understand things on the mortal plane, which through the scriptures we're able to gain a deeper insight into things that are beyond the realm of mortal understanding. Like we can literally tell you the future through the scriptures. We're beyond mortal. We're beyond mortality in that level. Matthew 6:30. Therefore, if the Most High so clothe the grass of the field, which today is, and tomorrow is cast into the oven, should not much more clothe you, O ye of little faith? Therefore take no thought, saying, What shall we eat, or what shall we drink, or wherewithal shall we be clothed? For all these things do the Gentiles seek, for your heavenly Father knoweth that you have need of all these things. And that's the things that these other nations are thinking of. That's the things that they seek. But your Father, which knows that you have need of all these things. So don't follow after these other nations. Don't be like the other Jakes that are following these other nations that are always worrying about catching that bag, right? Verse 33, but seek ye first the kingdom of the Most High and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you. Take therefore no thought for the morrow shall take thought for things of itself. Sufficient to the day is the evil thereof. And it's very interesting, which Yahushai, as you all know, is Solomon in the reincarnation, as we all know, and he mentioned that too in this one, very spiritual. And then you hear him speak all these things, and it's very reminiscent of King Solomon. So it's all the more proof that Yahushai is King Solomon in the reincarnation. And I don't think I'm going off, but I'm pretty sure he was, probably aware of that at this point, because the Most High did bless him with wisdom. He was, more than likely aware that he was King Solomon in the reincarnation. I hope I'm not going off. Any of you brothers out there happen to see that, you GMS brothers happen to see that, you could go rebuke me, but I think I believe he knew, because he talked about, John the Baptist being Elijah. He was clearly led into, a lot of secret information, and he was called for to push out certain information, speak certain things, and so on and so forth. But if I'm off, rebuke me, but that's pretty much it. I just looked up Bible verse of the day, and I saw that as the random verse their algorithm picked up, and I was like, might as well. They only put out 26 to 27, but then I was like, yeah, that doesn't really make for much, so I might as well, read on down. I won't get official.